Hello everyone, and welcome back to Stories with me, Jesse. Today's stories are a viewer request from Lady Leomon, telling of encounters from the fedora-wearing and oh-so-socially awkward gentleman over at Reddit/Neckbeard Stories. Let me know what you think of these stories in the comments, as well as any suggestions you might have that we may just use in a future installment. Don't forget your 20-sided die, and keep your comics in their slipcovers, because we're getting started now. Our first story is titled, Was Given a Flower and Called Milady by a Neckbeard in the Arcade. This obviously happened before Corona and the pandemic hit, but this sub was down or something when I tried to tell the story. So I went to the arcade in my town. It's really cool. They've got gaming tournaments, tabletop games, a whole room for vintage games, shooter games, just everything. I guess you could say the people I meet when I go there could be a little neckbeardy, but only in looks. They're actually really nice. Fast forward a few months ago when things weren't insane and they're all organizing their magic decks or something. I have yet to get into magic because I get confused about it and I don't want to ask someone to teach me, so I was just sipping a soda and watching when this guy comes into the shop. Never met him before. Definitely more neckbeardy. He had long greasy hair to match too, and dressed pretty odd but no fedora. He was definitely older. He goes and chats with the guys, notices me, and I legit kid you not says, "Hello, milady. This flower doesn't compare to your beauty," and picks up this flower he had on the front register desk and hands it to me. No one knows where he got the flower. A bit later, we're alone again, and both of the guys I was with apologized about what happened and said that he was weird, but didn't come in too much, and hope I still felt okay. I wasn't angry or scared or something. I was just fucking baffled that I got a fucking flower and actually got called milady. If anyone wants proof, I do have a picture of the flowers. Aw, doesn't that just make you feel special? At least he was a nice one, and such a gentleman. I suppose you can't blame a guy for trying to be sweet. After all, you tend to encounter neckbeards most in their natural environment. Moving on, our next story is called Neckbeard at Age 11 and How I Reformed Myself. About 4 to 5 years ago, I was the biggest neckbeard. Not in size, rather how I acted. I was really cringy. I went through a phase where I watched My Little Pony and boasted about it. I even told my teacher, and she did that thing where she laughs at it so she doesn't hurt the students' feelings. I went on DeviantArt and got into weird kinks. I lusted over the girls in my grade. And I got jealous when the popular athletic kid got paired up with all the girls, thinking I was more worthy than him. I spent an entire week of summer in filthy clothes, beating my meat, in a room that I never came out of unless it was for food. I even missed my friend's birthday party during that week. Speaking of friends, I barely had any. My closest friends were the ones who were concerned about me and stuck by my side, and were the ones who inspired me to get out of the neckbeard hole. Eventually, over the years, I grew tired, angry, depressed. Then I realized all of that could change. It took a lot of change. It took me years to reform myself to become more civilized and more normal. I started combing my hair to trendy styles. I started playing guitar and got into the choir. I made a lot of friends who further inspired me to become who I am. I still have some old habits of the past, but the past is the past. Well, that's great that you started taking care of yourself a little better and thinking about your life and how you wanted to be seen by the people around you. Just don't pretend to be someone different just because you think it'll make people accept you. Neckbeard or not, you have to be happy with yourself instead of losing your identity just to please other people. Our next story is called The Tale of Chinbeard, terrorizer of friends and lover of freshman girls. When I first met Chin, I was a freshman doing PT with Bear. Bear was a friend I made in ROTC. She's short but strong, with arms like logs and a heart like gold. We were lifting those little hand weights together and talking when he approached us. A new scent invaded our noses, and it was somehow worse than the stale scent of socks and sweat that the weight room already reeked of. This one smelled like BO and milk. There he was in all his glory, Chinbeard. The name was picked for ironic reasons, as he had a scruffy underbite and a scrawny body. With red hair and big yellow teeth, he was adorned with only the classiest of active gear, which is to say, an anime shirt and jeans. I took one look at this guy and two conflicting thoughts came into play. One said, "This guy is a total neckbeard." I was aware of the term back then, while the other said, "Don't judge people based on their appearance. He could be super nice and you'd never know." My dumb friendly ass went for the latter, and he went over to talk to us. We instantly engaged in conversation. He actually seemed pretty normal. One thing I noticed was that he liked to monopolize the conversation and was very tone deaf. And his already loud voice was even louder in our small weight room. That kinda rubbed me the wrong way, I guess, but I thought nothing of it. Then, he asked us if we watched anime. Bear said no. I stupidly said yes. The shreds of normalcy he possessed were shoved aside as he blabbered on about anime. I'll confess, I do watch anime and I am a degenerate too. I just don't watch the stuff this guy watches. His taste was a mix between shonen, harem, and possibly hentai, which he didn't directly state, but damn it, when you just casually state that you watch Monster Musume in a conversation, I know the you get up to. He gave me a few recommendations which I begrudgingly took. Come to find out it was the same kind of pervy slice of life anime he watched. He was in ROTC as well, so he talked to us every opportunity he got. We're separated by grade but have the same schedule, so when we went to the gym for PT, so did he. Chin never wore his uniform on uniform days or active gear on PT days. Despite my discomfort, I tolerated his existence, so he tolerated ours in return. He favored Bear over me because I didn't really like him. I didn't fit his criteria either. He liked short girls. I was freakishly tall. Soon enough, he asked Bear out. I found this shady for a few reasons, one of them being that he lied about his age. He said he was 14, but was in the Colonel's class, which was primarily juniors and seniors. I found out through other means that he was 17, turning 18. He's also kinda rude. He always got an attitude with us if we didn't agree with him. I tried warning Bear in advance that this wasn't a good idea, but she really wanted to make this work and ignored my caution. I love Bear, bless her heart, but she feels the need to constantly be in a relationship, and it has gotten her in trouble more than once. Needless to say, it didn't work out, and Chin's true colors began to show. He was incredibly possessive and manipulative. He also constantly posted these low-resolution, kinda lewd anime pictures on his Instagram, and would tag her in them with a heart eyes emoji or something stupid like that. She eventually got sick of his behavior, but when she tried to break up with him, he'd say this lame melodramatic like, "You're my everything, I need you," and threatened to kill himself. On top of that, he also sent her these pics of sad anime boys in the rain with their eyes doing the shaded over thingy. He was pathetic. Eventually, after prodding from both me and a few other friends, she broke up with him. We pointedly avoided Chin for the rest of the year in ROTC, but that didn't stop him from trying to talk to me between classes in a vain attempt to convince me to talk her into liking him. This was not the last interaction my misfit group of friends and I had with him, however. If you guys are interested, then I'd love to post a second part. Oh no! That story fits my criteria for a neckbeard pretty well, and I'm glad you were able to free your friend from his desperate grip. Pretty impressive that he joined ROTC though. Maybe he thought it would help him level up with the ladies. Our final story is titled, "My soon-to-be husband is a neckbeard." Okay, I know what you're thinking from the title. What did this poor girl get herself into? Well, I'll tell you. I was listening to stories on YouTube and heard the description of a neckbeard. I then came to the realization that my soon-to-be husband is a neckbeard, but not the creepy type. He is almost every sense of the word neckbeard. Looks-wise, he has the full-on neckbeard. He is starting to come around to shaving more, though. He dresses in button-up shirts. He wears a freaking fedora. He used to have a trench coat, but I bought him a leather jacket of which he now wears. Acne, which is getting better as we do weekly face masks together. The only thing looks-wise he's not is fat, because, well, he physically can't get fat. He has a medical condition of which he can't. He also does not smell bad, as he does take showers every other night. Personality-wise is the same too. Socially awkward, can't pick up social cues, and overly confident about things he shouldn't be. And yes, a lot of miladies and shall we this and shall we that. He is obsessed over My Little Pony. He plays Magic the Gathering and other card games as well as a lot of video games. He also is crazy about all things anime and Japanese. However, despite all of this, I do in fact love him with all my heart. He treats me right, not in a pervy way like most, and I do a lot of the stuff he's into. I find him cute in his own dorkish way. We just kinda clicked when we met. He's also an amazing father, and I am super excited to marry him next summer. Note: yes, I know it's not your typical neckbeard story, but when I realized I was marrying one, I lost my shit laughing. My soon-to-be husband asked what I was up to, and I came out between laughs. You're a neckbeard! He looked at me confused, so I explained the explanation of what that meant. And he looks at me and says, Wow, I guess I am one, and we both continue laughing. TLDR, I love and am marrying a neckbeard. Isn't that just the sweetest love story? Everyone has their match out there, and you found yourself a wonderful dork whom you love very much, and I think that's the greatest thing. If anyone in the audience has had their own memorable encounters with a neckbeard, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you once again to Lady Leomon for suggesting the topic of today's video. Anyways, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for tuning in with me, Jesse. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and check out what other stories I have for you. To quote Reddit user Marine Hoptman, "It's not the beard on your neck that counts, it's the beard on your heart." I'll catch you in the next one.